Hello, today I'm going to demonstrate some functions that are available in Google Spreadsheets that might be useful for engineers. So, the first function that I'm going to demonstrate is the if function. The use for this function is to create conditional formulas, and for example, I'm going to use this table of the load testing for beams. So here we have the beam ID, we have deflection, our measured data, and we have the status. Here we're going to use the if function. So basically what we're going to write is if this is our criterion. So for example, the tolerance is less or equal than 2.5, and this is if it meets the criterion, and this is what it would say if it doesn't meet the criterion. So if the statement is true, it would say this. If this statement is not true, it would say this. Let's go ahead and check it. We use the equal sign for every function. So let's do it. So it says within limit. That is true because 2.5 is less or equal than 2.5. Let's just go ahead and drag this down. As you can see, 2.84 is 2.84 is greater than 2.5. That means it exceeds limit, right? So yeah, here is our if function. You can use that. Next is the SUMIF, COUNTIF, and AVERAGEIF function. So SUMIF is to calculate totals, COUNTIF is to count stuff, and AVERAGEIF is to average stuff. So for example, we have this table of material compression test result, and there are some questions here that we want to answer. For example, how many steel samples tested? So of course we're going to count it from this table right here, right? So to do that, sorry, we're going to use the COUNTIF. We use an equal sign to activate this. So D13 through D17 is this, right? So this is the column that we're going to select, and they're going to look for the word steel. So the steel right here is going to be looked up from this column. And then they were going to count it, like how many steel is in this column. Let's go ahead and check. Okay, it's correct. There are two steels in this column. Next is the SUMIF. We use it to answer the max load, total max load from all steel. So how do we do it? Okay, so we use SUMIF. D13 through D17 is this material right here, right? This column. So they're going to search for the word steel, and then they're going to calculate the total of this this column right here. So they're going to calculate it from the steel, but from this column, if you get what I mean. I hope you get what I mean. Let's just go ahead and check. So yes, 180 is the total of 92 and 88, right? So that means that's correct. Next is the average of max load from all steel. This is the AVERAGEIF function. We can use the AVERAGEIF function. And then again, it's the same structure. It's the same structure. It's D13 through D17. And then we're going to find the steel, and we're going to calculate the average of the max load. So let's go ahead and execute this function. As you can see, 180 divided by 2 is 90, so it's right here. So it's true. Okay, that is it, and we're going to move on to the next function, which is VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP is to look up data. Basically, it doesn't really do any counting or measurement. You just have a reference table, and then you make another table. Like for example, you want like a separate, more focused table only with the materials and yield strength, like this. So yeah, that's what you're going to use, VLOOKUP. Okay, so here is our function. Basically, C32 is this C. This column right here, and then they're going to look it up from this range, and then the 3 means this this column because it's the third column of the selected data, selected table, and then false. So let's do it, and then it's correct. So 250 is the yield strength data of the steel right here. We're just gonna drag it down and see if it's correct. As you can see, so polymer is here. They're going to find the word polymer from this, right? And then they're going to just select the result right here, 50, and it will paste it right here. So that's for VLOOKUP. So it's to look up data and just paste it to another table. The next one is the sort and filter function, which is to sort and filter data. It's pretty straightforward. And then basically for this, let's just use the sort. It won't work over here because there's limited space, but I'm just gonna paste it right here, okay? So we're going to copy this, and then I'm going to put it right here. So we're going to sort it. We're going to sort based on the deflection, because here we have the selected range, and then 3 means it's selected based on the third column, which is deflection, and true means it's going to be ascending. So from the littlest value to the greatest value. Let's see if it's true. As you can see, it's true because it starts from the 1.2 all the way up to 2.8. But we can also, you know what, you can also make it like descending. I'm pretty sure you do false and then it will do exactly that. So yeah, it goes from 2.8 to 1.2. So it is correct. And then now we're going to do the filter. So from this, basically we use the, let's see. We use the selected data right here. And then we use this, which is this column right here. And then we're going to do greater or equal to 10. So why can't you use, like, for example, like the second column and then you just put 2 in here? You can't do that because 2 is also a number, so the system would mark it as a number and they would be confused because you also have a number right here. But for the previous one, you have statements of true and false, right? So it won't confuse it. So here you have to mention, like, which column, as in like D38 through D42, something like that. Let's just do it. And as you can see, this is sorted by load, by the way. So if the load is greater or equal to 10, it's true, right? It's going to be pasted right here. Okay. Next one and the last one is going to be the pivot table. Basically, it's like VLOOKUP, but you want to make another table, and then you don't want to, like, you just want to, like, save yourself the hassle of doing it. So let's just go ahead and do it to demonstrate it, so you can see it. So this is a table right here. I have the beam ID, material, load, deflection. It's basically like the same data I used from the sort and filter function. And then we go to insert right here, and when we go to pivot table, you can use a new sheet, so it's going to create a new sheet over here, or we can just use an existing sheet, and then we're going to specify which row or column that we're going to use. For example, I want it to be in C54. Let's just do it sheet 54. So we're going to write sheet 1, exclamation mark, and then C54. Okay, so for example, I want to add the materials to the row, and then for values I want the deflection. So as you can see here, it's just going to sum up the deflection, but you can also use average, let's say like average of a deflection or average of load, something like that. We can just do this and then change it to average, and then you have this, right? Average of deflection. So you don't really have to do like the sub, average, something like that. Like, so yeah, it's basically like an oversimplified version of all the functions that I demonstrated. You can do average, you can do sum, you can do like COUNTIF, something like that, and then it would just make a new table for that. Okay, so that is all that I'm going to do. Hope you find this video useful. Thank you.